Okay, so from Benin City, south of Nigeria, thank you so much for staying with us. Just a quick wrap, which Daisy Liasiki did there, talking about the news updates. It's the first edition of Business Rendezvous right here on Independent Television. Let's quickly move straight to the interview segment now, where we have an economist in the studio with us, Dr. Osaze Yoha. Will be the one to help us dissect the reason. I mean, I know he doesn't work in the Ministry of Aviation, but he's a close watcher of the national economy, and he'll be able to help us to have a clearer understanding as to why what is happening, especially as it concerns the aviation sector is concerned in Nigeria, why what is happening now is currently happening. Now, since 2018, there's been an aviation master plan from the Federal Ministry of Aviation as to when the Nigerian national carrier is to take full effect. Okay, logo has been made, series of advertising here and there, and then they came out to say, okay, we are looking at the month of April where this will take its full effect. This is June, and today is June 1st. One would have expected that by now we should be floating our own national carrier. What's happening?
It's I'm as stunned as you are too. Yeah, it's just as you rightly said, November
2021.
Yeah, November 2021.
Yes.
I think on the 30th, just after a fake meeting.
Yeah.
You know, the Minister of Aviation,
yes,
Mr. Hadi Sirika, came out to address the press and told us that by April 2022, very categorically, that we'll be floating our national carrier.
Yeah.
In fact, this is not the first time.
Okay.
In 2016, the whole idea of starting floating an airline, a national carrier, started in 2015. Immediately this administration came on board. In 2016, the president set up a 13-man committee to look at the possibility, create a roadmap, then also investigate why the Nigerian Airways failed, so that they avoid all the reasons why it failed. So since 2016, there was another 2 years. Probably they were still doing all the underground work for 2 years. That's 24 months. Yeah. That's huge. A private airline, it just takes airpiece and I think 3 months. It's
to come on board. Yeah.
So 2 years, 2018, as you rightly said, they floated the logo in London. People also criticized that fact, that why London? Why take it to London? Then so much money was used to sponsor the designing. Yeah. In fact, it was in the news that about $600,000 was spent. It's about 183 million naira was used just for designing the logo. Another worry too was that the consultancy for designing that logo was given to a Bahrain company, Bahrain company. Something you can do in Nigeria. A company called From 6 Communications. That's From 6, number 6 Communications. It was on Twitter. They put it there on Twitter. And 600, that's about 183 million. Yeah. But later, to be fair, the minister came out and said it's not up to that. It's just about 90 million naira, which is also high.
But so much money was spent on that.
And the problem I have with that is this. Just the year before that, 2018, the president signed an executive order on local content. He said that all MDAs, the law stated that all MDAs must give preference to local content in their procurement of goods and services. In fact, specifically item 4 of that executive order specified on ICT that at least 40% of the expenditure of any MDA should have content, local content. That's local manufacturers should be given preference. So this was all for a Bahrain company. So there have been so much issues with right from the onset. And 2018, as you said, 2021. So 2018 to 2021, nothing happened. In fact, just 2 months after the logo was launched, July 2018, September 2018, the government came out on Twitter and said that we regrettably announced that we are suspending takeoff of the aircraft. So it took another 3 years. 2021, the minister said this, that by April 2022, they will take off. We'll start having our flight in the air. But I think by January, the minister also came and said the Omicron variant that came out in December affected. How that did, I don't know. So April, and he said by June, which is next month, so we'll be seeing the carrier. So we are still hopeful that by June we'll have the national carrier. But the logistics around it, they've explained that it's going to be public-private partnership, that they will start with 3 airlines 3 aircraft.
3 aircraft, yeah.
Leased aircraft. They are not. They don't have the money.
To buy.
But in 2017 budget, it's important to state that 2017 budget, 555 million was budgeted and disposed and dispatched for the national carrier. 555 million. 200 million was also budgeted for consultancy services. So probably that's what they used for the logo. Then in 2018, even when the national carrier did not set up, 50 million was also budgeted for the national carrier, 20 million for consultancy services. So you see that money is still budgeted for a carrier that we still are yet to see.
Yeah.
So they've told us June 2023. So let's be hopeful. They say it's a private government, public-private partnership. 5% will be government-owned.
In fact, that's really what I want to talk about. I mean, if the Minister of Aviation is saying, okay, yes, what we want to do is not a government alone run enterprise, all right? We want to have a situation where it will be the private sector that will partner with the government so this thing can be run smoothly. But then, just like you said, I mean, you rightly noted, 95% to the private hands, 5% to the government. Paltry 5%, some persons want to say. So I don't know what kind of partnership really are we looking at. Is that really a partnership, or can't we just say we are just handing it over to the private sector?
Yeah, the risk of playing the devil's advocate. The reason that has been given is that they are trying to avoid government interference, which was one of the bane of Nigerian Airways. So that 5% is just for the government's regulation, supervisory role, and so on. 46% will be for Nigerians, so Nigerians can buy shares. 49% will be foreign equity. That's the explanation given. But you know, we have become now so used to this feeling of government is not good in running business. That's the kite that is always thrown at us, that government are bad business people. So and we have now almost made the government of Nigeria look like a spoiled brat. You know, they cannot do anything. So
they can't take responsibility.
Exactly, just like a spoiled brat. He crashes your car at the museum ground in Ring Road. You say, I don't mind him. That's how he is. You give him another car. Please avoid. So we are just petting the government. But we have government who run businesses in other countries successfully. Their aircraft, look at Ethiopia Airlines. It's 100% owned by government.
Absolutely.
100%. In fact, Ethiopia Airlines owns 20% shares in Eritrea Airline, another government run airline. Eritrea Airline, a small island. It has 80%, the government in an Eritrea Airline. Emirates is owned 100% by the government of Dubai. Etihad Airways is owned 100% by the government of Abu Dhabi. Algeria Airways, Egypt Airlines, Mozambique Airlines, Uganda Airlines. These are airlines. You can confirm it on that. They are 100% owned by government. These are very high-profile airlines that fly our airspace. So I don't see any reason why the Nigerian government cannot take responsibility. Nigeria Airways was an embarrassment to this country. You see, from 1980, the Nigeria Airways was set up in 1958. By 1961, it was 51% government owned. By 1961, government had 100% shares in Nigeria. But we know what led to it. Corruption. We had government interference. You have politicians fly these airlines without paying. You had political interference. You had corruption, putting hands into into the resources of the airlines without accountability. You had overstaffing. That was a major problem. You know, government institutions. So in a private firm where you have 10 people, because it's a government firm, you load politicians and relatives, 100 people into the system. So you are making, your expenditure is now higher than your income. Those were the bane of Nigeria. In 1983, Nigeria Airways had about 30 aircraft in their fleet. 30, a whopping 30. In fact, at the time, they were paying on cash. There's hardly any airline operator that buys aircraft on cash. You buy, and you lease, or you buy on credit. But Nigeria Airways was paying on cash to show you how liquid the company was. But by 2003, when the airline was liquidated, they had just one aircraft. As at 2000, from 30. So what happened? At that time, they had $528 million in debt. So that's the bane of the Nigerian economy, corruption. So if their thinking is that the way to ensure or get away government's hand from the airline, maybe that's the reason why they are saying 5% shares. But I don't know, whichever way it goes, if they are using, if it's just 5% share, they feel that that's the right way to run it, fine, good enough for them.
But do you actually think we need a national carrier?
Yes, I think that's a discussion that has been in the public space for a while. The fact that it seems like a luxury, commodity or a luxury good airline that is for the big men and so on. So that has been the argument. But when you want to look at it on an economic scale, I think there are reasons to also feel that a national carrier is important. For just like manpower, look at the engineers. It's on record that we don't have reputable trained airlines engineers currently in the country. You have airlines taking their aircraft for C-check. C-check is something that is done every 18 months. You have airlines going abroad to carry out their C-check. It was being done in Nigeria in the 70s, in Murtala and Mohammed Airport. But you have airlines going to do their C-checks abroad every 18 months for £2.5 million dollars. That's about 500 million naira every 18 months. So why? Because we don't have the facility here, an MRO facility, that's maintenance, repairs, and overall facility in Nigeria. So what a national carrier does is that it helps to give a platform to train your manpower. You know, no private airline would give you the opportunity to train. They go for ready-made engineers, ready-made pilots. So what a national carrier would do is that you have an opportunity for IT, those who read aeronautics engineering in university, they have a platform to come and do their IT, train pilots, train engineers, train even air hostesses. So it serves as a basis for manpower development. Also, we could also say it provides security for our foreigners who are coming to the country. Imagine a foreigner coming to country, he will be at peace. He will feel more relaxed riding or flying in your national carrier. It's like I'm guaranteed by the Nigerian government. There's this feeling of embassy on the wing, on the wings. So there's this relaxation, this trust they have in the government carrier than a private, and so it creates trust. Then for reputation also, a national carrier gives you prestige. It gives you a reputation. It's like an image making. Just like, look at the way Nigeria has been so castigated on all fronts. People see Nigeria, insecurity and so on. So imagine you have in Nigerian air, an aircraft in Heathrow Airport in Britain, a very fine Boeing 77 aircraft in Heathrow in Britain or in New York Airport. So you have this image that people look at the plane. You know that there's this feeling of this Nigeria is not as bad as they say, just because they are seeing an aircraft, a fine aircraft. So it just creates an image, a reputation, prestige, goodwill. So that's another thing. The ancillary services, it helps. Catering service, you go to the airport, you see there are consultancy firms, there are bodies who provide these catering services. Lease, in fact, that's one thing we don't have. Most airlines hardly have their own planes. You lease. So that's business for leasing companies when you have a national carrier. You have insurance companies too. They could also make business from that, and so on. Catering services, it provides employment. Air hostesses and pilots and so on. So there are so many reasons that a national carrier could, even the return on investment. Airline business is a very expensive business. I don't know if you know Richard Branson, one of the major investors in it. He said one time that if you want to quickly become a millionaire from a billionaire, go into the airline business. So there's really no high return on investment as such. There's profit, but it's not as high. That's probably as starting a hotel or a filling station or something. A plane, the cheapest one which most airlines use, 737-700, is about $90 million. That's over 240 billion naira just for an aircraft. The engine, you hear sometimes you hear that there was a plane crash, a bed crash gets into the engine when the plane is on the air, and it crashed the engine. So a new engine is about 24 million for an aircraft. That goes into almost 12 billion too. So you see that aircraft business is a very expensive business. We talked about aviation fuel the last time, where we are told an aircraft, Boeing 737, uses about 4 liters per second, just a second, 4 liters. And we're told that a liter is about 700, and so you use 2,800 naira for just a second. So you can imagine a flight of 1 hour. So you see that return on investment. So government is good. Government involves itself, so that it's like a social service for the people. So there are so many reasons why we can.
Dr. Saze, with all the figures we've been given now, is this something that that the government of the day can actually sustain? And then you also talked about the fact that overstaffing was one of the bane of the then Nigerian Airways. Yeah. The Minister of Aviation says that the national carrier will employ up to 70,000 employees, and that's, if you look at that number, it's even much more than the civil servants in the country.
I think they are just trying to, in my mind, I'm thinking that maybe he's just trying to give reasons or to justify the necessity for a national carrier. You know, most times when we are trying to fly a kite, we try to create this impression for people's buying, so that they feel that it's an employment gainer. That's what people want to hear. But I don't think it's going to, because they've said that the first 2 years is just going to be local flights. 3 aircraft leased. So how many pilots or air hostesses do you have 3 aircraft for? So, but it said that in the next 5 years, they hope to get 30 aircraft in their fleet. So maybe it's a long-term projection. Maybe thinking of the 5-10 years. So probably he has to break it down. In how many years? In 30 years, in 40 years. Okay. But I can guarantee you that in the first 2 years, 3 aircraft, I don't see it going beyond probably 2 or 1,500 staff.
Okay, so we should keep our fingers crossed that national carrier will come into reality. We should keep waiting.
Yeah, we hope so. It has to come. Even for tourism, you have so many tourist centers in Nigeria. It's these national carriers that help propagate this. You look at Ethiopia Airlines CNN. You get this pride when you see it being advertised on CNN. So I think it's something that the Nigerian government should look at. But for my thinking, this is an election year or penultimate year. You know, in developing countries, penultimate years to election is almost a free for all. There's really nothing that's going to happen. So I don't see this starting in June. The president has been more realistic. He said, before my administration ends, we would have a national carrier. So that seems like an open-ended statement.
So it could even be before 26th of May 2023.
It could be May 28th, midnight by 12 o'clock. So you are not holding him by anything.
Oh my word! So if we don't get it now, we don't know whether it will be part of the visions of a new administration coming on board.
Hopefully, probably it will be one of the handover. It will be on the handover notes.
Okay, all right, Dr. Osaze, thank you so much. It's always been a pleasure having you. Thank you. Okay, so business roundabout will continue shortly. We want to look at the Nigerian exchange, how it started trading. The week was rather bearish, okay? Bearish of 3 consecutive days of gains from, that was actually from last week, you know? And that saw the all-share index above $4,000, right? $4,000 basis point, a price point not traded since July 2008. So we just quickly run through the Nigerian exchange top all-share index gainers. Transex PR up plus 9.86% to close at 0.78 kobo. All right, UACN up plus 9.52% to close at 11.50 kobo. Jaiz Bank up plus 8.97% to close at 0.85 kobo. That's for the top gainers. Okay, quickly we run through the top all-share index losers. Presco down 10% to close at 162 naira. UPL down 8.77% to close at 2 naira 60 kobo. Okay. All right, that's the much we can take this morning on the show for time's sake. Well, we'll be back again tomorrow to bring another interesting perspective as far as the business environment in Nigeria is concerned. Don't forget, this is a commercial program. All right, make sure you're part of it. Take advantage of everything we talk right here. We talk the economy, financial literacy. We talk industries, and how you also can learn and make little contribution to how the economy grows to the next level. I am Dennis Ofik. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning.